My name is Mark Salamango. If you didn't see the video I published a few days ago, I was talking a lot about a new journey that I'm taking, and that journey is in Jiu Jitsu. So the way this all started was a friend of mine, Dean Mitchell, which before I get into that story, Dean's written a fantastic book. It's called The Woman Missing in the Mirror. Dean Mitchell's his name. My wife and oldest daughter has read this book and they loved it. I know a lot of women who've read it and it's really helped them. So it's not, I think there's some things that you can get if you're a man to read it as well, but I think for a woman, your wife, your older daughters or whatever, I think it's a fantastic book. So shout out to Dean for that. So basically, I gave Dean a call and I said, hey man, I'm thinking about finding something that I can do while my daughter's at dance. And this dance place she's taking lessons from is kind of a bit of a hike from our house, and her dance is for a few hours. And I thought, well, maybe if I could find something to do in that area, I'd be kind of killing two birds with one stone. So I gave Dean a call because I knew his jiu-jitsu dojo was fairly close to where my daughter's taking dance. And I said, hey, do you like it? You know, what do you think? And he said he loved it. He loved the people there. He's just growing in all these different ways. And he said, hey, how about you come on out to open mats, and you can get a chance to see what rolling is all about. So I said, hey, that sounds great. Let's do that. And it turned out that was going to be on the 4th of July. Well, while everyone else was eating burgers and dogs and drinking and stuff, I decided to give this jiu-jitsu thing a try. So I drove over to Dean's house. He took me to this place, and immediately I could just tell that the culture was going to be the kind of place that I would enjoy. Everyone was helpful. I mean, it was literally my first time, and it was an open mat rolling day. So basically, you're sparring. And fortunately, everyone was so helpful. I mean, I didn't know anything yet, right? Back when I was in college 25 plus years ago, I did a little bit of Taekwondo, but it's just so very different. And in Taekwondo, you'd never go right to sparring. You know, the first thing you're going to teach you is a front kick, and then you're going to progress from there, and you're going to learn stances and punching and things like that. So I kind of got thrown into the deep end, which isn't usually what happens here, but it just, they created this safe environment, which made it really cool. So I got a chance to do that for about 60 minutes, and the next day I was thinking, you know, that was just so much fun. I have to learn a little bit more. So I scheduled a kind of a consultation with the owner, Ryan Fiorenzi, and I could just tell the hearts of these people are just fantastic. They're great teachers. Every level that I've worked with at this point has been just awesome. So this is my first week recap. I'm just basically all that to say, I liked it so much that I'm hooked, and I signed up for 7 months, and I'll see what happens after the 7 months. My guess is that if I'm injury free and things are going well, I'll sign up for another 7 months. So, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a video series. You can go online and you can see tons of people who are amazing, and you can learn all these crazy moves. And I thought it would be interesting for maybe a few people to see how the journey goes. So you'll see me just learning the terminology all the way till hopefully progressing on up through my white belt stripes. So it's similar to, I'm also a guitar player, a musician, and when you're just starting to play guitar, you know, there's a million people who can shred, there's a million people that can do incredible things, but you very rarely see the guy that's just starting out and seeing the struggles that they're having. And one of the things that I like to do is I like to dive in kind of all in, to my wife's dismay, when I find something that seems cool or I'm passionate about it. I did it with guitar, I did it with shooting, I've done it with technology. There's just so many different things that are interesting to me, and so getting started in something is kind of the way I roll. So hopefully you'll be able to learn as I'm learning the things that are working, the things that are not working. Now, this first week, like I said, I did open rolling on the 4th. That was 60 minutes. Then I did like a 20 to 30 minute consult with the owner, Ryan. Then the next day I did a 90-minute class with a fantastic guy, Ronaldo Candido. And Ronaldo is a UFC fighter. He's been on different shows. super humble guy. He's just an amazing teacher. So I learned quite a lot in those 90 minutes. I worked with some of the lower belts, and then yesterday I did a 60-minute class with the owner, Ryan Ferenzi, and that was fantastic as well. So kind of my recap right now is the thing that I've learned is this is a humbling sport. To go in and to roll spar with a white belt who's only been doing jiu-jitsu for a few months, and then having them basically take care of business on you is just humbling. I mean, I'm 6'5", 210 to 215, and I'm fairly fit. And fortunately, I have some strength, and that kind of helped me out of some situations. I was getting choked out by a young lady who's about half of my size, and fortunately I was able to just overpower her with strength just to get out of it, but tactically she was killing me. And so I'm very humbled to know that just with a little bit of training, self-defense is going to be improved for me and hopefully my family. It's just a killer workout, a great stress release. So I'm really excited so far. I'm extremely sore, which is something I'm not used to. I've been working out for years. I've been doing gymnastic type workouts lately, and things like rings and pull-ups on them, dips on them, all kinds of archer push-ups, things like that. And I thought I was in pretty good shape, but once I started rolling and you're just using all these isometric moves and things, and it's been, again, humbling. So I'm very sore. Again, this is week 1. I assume there will be more soreness, but at this point, it's nothing to keep me from continuing to go. Just like with anything that you're just starting to learn, you kind of are getting the fire hose in the beginning. So I have everything from terminology I'm trying to learn to, what the practice is, bowing in, bowing out, things like that, taking your shoes off at the right places, all that silly stuff, but it's just additional stuff. And the human mind struggles with more than a couple things at a time. So on top of that, I'm learning moves and escapes and just ways to control in different places and different ways. So there's a lot. And I think if you try to absorb it all, you're going to fail. Just like when I started guitar, I mean, you don't start off playing, sweeping arpeggios or something like that. You start off with some very basic, simple exercises. And that's what I tried to focus on after the different classes. I tried to visualize some of these things, and then I tried to just look at different videos and just focus on kind of the fundamentals. In most sports, fundamentals win. And so in jiu-jitsu, there's a move called shrimping. And so I was just really shown that yesterday, a couple days ago, but more so I got a chance to work on it yesterday. And it's a simple move, but it's obvious that it's one of those foundational things that you have to know how to do so that you can create space between you and your opponent. Bridging is another one. And so there are a few of these things that you can just tell are going to be used over and over and over, and you want to know how to do them well. Fortunately, at Kaizen, they have a website where once you're training with them, you have access to videos, and you can see Ryan will walk you through all the different steps. And so it's just another great way to get reinforcement. I didn't get to where I'm at with guitar by practicing once or twice a week in a lesson or with a band. The way you get better is by doing these repetitions on your own. So that's going to be my strategy. I'm trying to visualize, okay, put this arm here, slip this arm under here, grab this. Even when I'm driving or just watching TV or whatever, I'm kind of thinking about some of these things because you got moves on both sides. You could start from the left, you could start from the right, you could use this arm on top, this arm on top. So I'm just going to try to get a nice fundamental foundational base, and then see what I can do. Again, at this point, I relied a ton on my strength, and the people, the brown belts, the purple belts, the blue belts, you can tell whatever they're doing, they're relaxed. And so that's something I'm going to focus on for this next week too. So being relaxed, just trying to basically survive until I learn a few things. When we were rolling, I lucked into a submission with a guy where I could just see his arm was in a position. I thought, well, the arm doesn't go this way, so I figured if I put it, did some things with it, then I'd get the submission, and I did, and it turns out it's called an Americana. Didn't know that at the time, and I'm hoping that some of these things are just going to come over time where it becomes intuitive. I may not know the move, but I know the basic positioning to do what I need to do. So so I'm excited about this. It's been a great workout. I've learned a ton already, and I really feel blessed to be at this particular dojo. Ryan's just great. In fact, since I'm showing off books, so he authored this book, and I've been looking through it, and it's got some really great beginning, basic stuff, just to get started. And I think that's nice to have a little guidebook, to have the website to help as well. So that's fantastic. So not only do we have Ryan, we have Ronaldo Candido. And he's just a great fighter. He's got a fight coming up August 1st, so tune into that to check him out. And really, that's all I have for this very first week. So hopefully you'll stick around, and I'll start showing video of me as I'm progressing and rolling and sparring, and some of the moves I'm learning, and hopefully it will encourage you to do the same thing. I don't think jiu-jitsu is one of these things where you have to be super fit to start. I think now is the time to start, to just do it, to get off the couch or get off whatever, and just make it happen. And I feel like it's the kind of sport that you can do your whole life too. Taekwondo, a doctor friend of mine just tore his ACL. It just seems more prone to injury, and I don't know as though I could do that the rest of my life. There are just certain things. Again, I'm 44 years old. I'm 6'5", 210 to 215 pounds. So I want to do something that's going to provide some exercise and fitness, some stress relief, as well as to keep my family safe. So that's it, and hopefully if I stay healthy, you'll get one of these next week as well. So take care.